The trip to the Mosel area had been an impulsive decision, sparked by a lecture from Liz's favourite professor, Mr. Wilson, at the Centre for Medieval Studies at the University of York. Mr. Wilson had a way of bringing the past to life, and his presentation on the Mosel Valley, its steep slopes, verdant vineyards, and medieval castles perched on craggy peaks, had struck a chord. His photographs, capturing the stronghold silhouetted against a fading sun, captivated her. After the lecture, Liz had approached him, her curiosity piqued. "Are those your photos? Have you been there?" she asked. Mr. Wilson smiled, his weathered face lighting up with the pleasure of discussing a favourite subject. 3 times, he said, and each time I found something new to marvel at. The castles, the valleys, it's a place that stays with you. He paused, looking at her as though weighing something. If you're ever inclined, Liz, you should go. There's nothing like standing where history happened. 2 days later, her weekend plans cancelled, Liz was on a plane to Germany. The bus ride from the airport was quiet, with just a handful of passengers scattered throughout. Rain streaked the windows, but Liz didn't mind. She'd taken a seat at the back, on the right side, for the best view of the valley's ridges. Despite the dreary weather, she was enchanted by the hints of what lay beyond. Mist-shrouded hills, stone towers emerging like spectres. She clutched her guidebook, a list of recommended castles from Mr. Wilson, folded neatly inside. Her hotel was a quaint, 2-storey affair, its timbered facade nestled among ivy-clad walls. The proprietor, an elderly woman with kind eyes and a thick German accent, greeted Liz warmly. "Ah, Mr. Wilson's student. Welcome. He spoke of you. Here, I've made a list. These are the castles you must see." The woman handed over a piece of paper, covered in precise handwriting. Later, over a glass of local wine, Liz marvelled at her good fortune. The trip was shaping up to be everything she'd hoped for. Saturday was a whirlwind of history and wonder. Liz visited 5 castles from Mr. Wilson's list, each unique in its design and atmosphere. But it was the smallest of them, a diminutive structure nestled against the mountainside, that stole her heart. Something about its intimacy, its human scale amidst the grandeur of the valley, spoke to her. That evening, the hotel proprietor asked about her day. "I loved the little castle best," Liz said. "It felt alive. Are there others like it nearby?" The woman's face darkened for a moment before she smiled. "There is one, but it is not on any tourist map. Immergarten Castle. You would like it, I think." Sunday morning, Liz found herself in a taxi, winding through remote back roads. Immergarten Castle loomed ahead, a small yet striking fortress perched atop a hill. The driver left her at the base of a narrow path leading upward. The castle was pristine but eerily quiet. Liz hesitated before pushing open the heavy wooden door. Inside, it was like stepping into another century. The air thick with age, the walls lit by faint shafts of light filtering through high, narrow windows. The spiral staircase beckoned. Carved from rough stone, it twisted upwards in defiance of gravity. Liz felt an odd unease as she placed her foot on the first step, a chill skittering across her skin. Halfway up, she noticed something peculiar. The staircase spiraled counterclockwise, unlike most medieval designs. A historian's trivia fluttered through her mind. Counterclockwise staircases were rare, often associated with strange or cursed places. The thought made her pause, but she shook it off. She was here for the view. As Liz climbed, unease turned to dread. The air grew heavy, pressing against her chest. She stopped to catch her breath and looked out through a narrow window. What she saw chilled her to the bone. She should have been high above the valley by now, but the trees outside were still at ground level. Her pulse quickened. She resumed climbing, each step feeling like a battle. When she reached the next window, the view had changed. A full moon cast a ghostly light over the landscape. It had been midday moments ago. "What the hell?" she whispered, her voice swallowed by the stone walls. Upward she climbed, her panic rising with every step. Day turned to night and back again outside the windows, the seasons cycling like a deranged film reel. She shouted for help, her voice echoing endlessly. And then there were the sounds. Faint murmurs, guttural whispers, as if the stones themselves were speaking. Liz's legs burned, her lungs screamed for air, but the staircase offered no end. Desperate, she turned and began descending. Yet the descent felt no different. The views through the windows shifted, mocking her. Summer, winter, dawn, dusk. Finally, exhaustion claimed her. She collapsed against the cold stone, tears streaming down her face. Darkness closed in. When Liz awoke, she was being shaken gently. The hotel proprietor's face hovered above her, lined with concern. "You didn't return last night. I feared something had happened." Liz jolted upright, her heart pounding. She was at the base of the staircase, sunlight streaming through the open door. I was trapped. It wouldn't end. The stairs." Her voice broke. The old woman smiled faintly. "Immergarten is special. Some castles have stories. Some have spells." Liz left the Mosel Valley the next morning, shaken but determined to move on. Yet she could never forget the castle with its endless staircase and its cruel magic. And she never again entered a spiral staircase without a shiver of fear.